Welcome back to My Life on a GLP-1, the podcast that navigates the ins, outs, and sometimes confusing new normals of this medication journey. I'm Scott Johnson. As always, my amazing sidekick Sarah has joined me.
I'm amazing. Thanks. Scott, we spend so much time talking about the getting there part of weight loss. The titrating up, the side effects, the first time you buy smaller jeans.
Oh, the glory of that first time. It's a milestone.
It really is, but we need more discussions about what happens after you get there. You hit your goal weight and you're in what they call the maintenance phase.
Right. And it feels like the rule book just gets tossed out the window. The goals are different, your body is different, and the questions you should be asking your doctor are completely different too.
Exactly. So today we're diving into the essential conversations you need to have with your doctor once you've entered the maintenance phase. These are the questions that will set you up for long-term health and success.
It's perfect timing because I just had my 3-year checkup with my doctor. I'm officially now 2 years into maintenance. So let's get into the first and maybe most obvious question you should be asking. Is my current dose still right for me in this phase? It sounds simple, but I think a lot of people just assume the dose that got them there is the dose they should stay on forever.
Exactly. But the goal has shifted. You're not trying to create a large calorie deficit anymore. You're trying to sustain your health. And the dose should reflect that new assignment.
Yeah, and it can go in two different directions. Some people find they're over-medicated and fatigue is relentless. Others find dialing the dose back brings the food noise roaring back.
It is really a challenging balancing act, right?
The key is that it's a conversation. It's not set in stone. You can talk to your doctor about alternatives, like stretching your injection schedule. The point is, maintenance should feel livable. If it doesn't, that's your first signal to bring it up.
Okay, the next question is one I wish I'd known to ask much, much earlier. And it is, have I lost too much muscle? And how would we even know?
This is such a big one, because when you're losing weight rapidly, it's not all fat. You can lose a significant amount of lean body mass, and that matters. Muscle is the engine of your metabolism and helps you keep the weight off long term.
For sure. But the good news is you don't have to guess. This is where you can ask your doctor about tools like a body composition test or even a DEXA scan to get a real picture of your fat to muscle ratio.
Yeah, and ask for specific protein targets. Not just eat more protein, but an actual number in grams based on your body weight. Combine that with asking about resistance training, and you're shifting the focus from just weight to overall health.
All right, let's talk about something that before and after photos never show. Those lingering side effects.
They're personally motivated, I'm convinced. But the question after a year becomes, is this still normal, or is it time to investigate? You're allowed to want to feel better than just functional. And that ties right into our next question. Should I be testing for nutritional deficiencies?
Exactly. And research is starting to show that micronutrient deficiencies, especially things like vitamin D and low iron, are pretty common in long-term users simply because overall food intake is down.
So it's not enough for your doctor to just look at the scale. You should be asking for specific lab work, testing your B12, vitamin D, iron, and magnesium to make sure there aren't any gaps in your care.
Okay, this next one is the question that I think a lot of us are afraid to ask out loud. What do we actually know about the long-term safety of these medications?
Right. And an honest conversation will acknowledge that while we have reassuring data from diabetes treatment since 2005, lifetime data for weight loss just doesn't exist yet. And a good doctor will be transparent about that and will tell you what they're monitoring, like gallbladder, pancreatic, and thyroid function, and what symptoms should prompt you to call them between appointments.
Being informed isn't being anxious. It's being a partner in your own healthcare. And that extends to the mental side of things, which brings us to the fear of weight regain.
And that brings us to our most practical question. What happens if I ever need to stop this medication? And what does that plan look like?
Right. And asking this isn't planning for failure. It's planning for reality. Insurance changes, finances shift, shortages happen. It's just smart to have a plan.
Exactly. We know from clinical trials that when people stop, they tend to regain a significant portion of the weight. That's not a moral failing. It's just what happens when the medication is no longer in your system, appetite returns, and the metabolic intervention lessens.
Hmm. So you want to ask your doctor what a safe tapering schedule would look like and what behavioral and nutritional strategies need to be rock solid before you even consider stopping. It's about having a plan in your back pocket.
So, the big takeaway here is that maintenance isn't the end of the journey. It's a whole new chapter with its own learning curve.
It really is. The transformation story is over, and now it's about figuring out how to live in this new reality. You have to become your own best advocate and start having these deeper, more specific conversations. And speaking of advocates, thank you all for always tuning in and streaming with us. I personally ask a favor to please take a moment, leave us some comments, and a 5-star review on your streaming service. Now, tell us, Scott, what final thoughts do you want to share about your discussion on maintenance with your doctor?
Thanks, Sarah. Whether you are still in losing mode or approaching your maintenance, remember to ask the questions, get the data, and build a plan that makes your phase feel sustainable and healthy for the long run. And on a separate note, there is a new feature on my website at mylifeonglp1.com where you can now register your email for a monthly newsletter. We won't spam you, but in the next week or so, we have a very exciting announcement coming, so you want to stay plugged in for that. So, on behalf of Sarah, I'm Scott Johnson. Remember, the point after you reach your goal weight has its own learning curve, its own emotional landscape, its own set of things that nobody put in the original brochure. Partner with your healthcare provider, keep learning everything you can, and always remember to love your journey. Thanks for tuning in.